All right, welcome back to the channel. This is my white 2005 C55 Amg. You know, this car, they only made right at 1,300 of them for North America. In 2005, they only made this car for 2 years, 2005 and 2006. The 2006 model, they only made 200 of them. But this one here, it's got, they didn't have a lot of options on these cars brand new, but a couple of the options that they did have were the bi-xenon headlights, navigation, and they also came with a burlwood interior. If you optioned them with it. This one here has just got the bi-xenon headlights and the navigation, which is a Harman Kardon sound system in this car. And it's got a subwoofer in the back, and gosh, I can't even remember how many speakers are inside of this thing, but there's quite a few separate speakers in here, and the stereo inside the car does sound pretty good. But this car here, it's had a couple of modifications. Whenever we first bought this car, it had these wheels on it, which I'm honestly not the biggest fan of. White cars with black wheels is just it's so mid-2000s anymore, but I'd much rather have something different on here, other than just plain old black. But it is what it is for now. Eventually I might think about changing out the wheels, but for now they're going to stay on there. But this car here, from my best guesstimate, I don't think it's running a stock tune in the computer, just for a few reasons. I'm not 100% for sure, but on most European cars, they get shut down at like 155 miles an hour. Yeah, not this one. I can't exactly say how fast I've seen the speedometer up to, but yeah, I don't think it's limited. And another one of the mods that I do know that has been done to this car, it's had the secondary cats deleted and the center resonator, which gives this car a pretty good sound. I really like the sound of this V8 in here. It's, to each their own, but some people say that, the C63 or that, 6.3, which is actually a 6.2 liter motor, sounds better than this. But, I honestly like, the sound that this C55 makes. But yeah, I'll kind of give you guys a little bit of a tour around it, and we'll take it out for a drive. All right, I'm sure you guys have seen, on my SD, how I get the hood open into the service position, but this one here does too. But this is the 5.5 liter, more actually it's a 5.4 liter, but they just named it the C55, just I guess because it sounds better. But the 5.5 liter in here stock cranked out 367 horsepower, which is not too bad for a 2005. And you can see here, as 90% of them missing the Mercedes emblem. And there is the name of the guy that built this motor. You know, a lot of people might not know, but all of these AMGs were hand built by one man or woman. But, you know, I should say the motors or engines were built by one person. So that's the, you know, the V8 engine in front here. And, you know, really about the only things that I've had an issue with on this is that alternator down there. And yeah, you can't really see it, but the AC compressor down there, I have replaced both of those, which was kind of before my YouTube days. But you know, on this car, you know, I really like to use, you know, some of the best, you know, parts on it, which, you know, I do run Michelin's. You know, this car did have Continental Extremes on it whenever I first got it, but you know, they just did not hook on this thing. So you know, I went up and I got these Michelin Pilot Sport 4S's, and you know, they run, you know, they do pretty well. But I'll take you in, show the interior. You know, we do daily drive this car. You know, it's got right at 120,000 miles on it, but you know, it's in pretty good shape. You know, there's, you know, a couple of buttons here on the steering wheel that, you know, are starting to lose, you know, they're oh, whatever you want to call that, you know, off of them. But, you know, for the main part, this car is actually, you know, still pretty nice. It's got, you know, the headliner back over here in the back corner is starting to sag. I need to get this thing in and, you know, get that fixed. But, you know, overall, you know, it's wore pretty well for its age. But you know, it's got tinted windows, all of that good kind of stuff. You know, it's got a small spoiler here on the back with a burn mark in it from a punk that I, you know, happened to leave on there on the 4th of July one year. But, you know, overall, it's, you know, still a fairly nice car. But, you know, one of the things that really, you know, kind of irked me is this front bumper. You know, going down the interstate, there was actually an animal that happened to pop out in front of us, and there was literally nothing we could do, and hit it. And you know, whenever we took it into the body shop, you know, they started looking around to see if they could get a front bumper for this car. And at the time, they were saying it was going to take, oh gosh, you know, something like 4 months to get it. But, you know, I decided, you know, just to leave it because, you know, we still daily drive it. And, you know, I didn't want to, you know, have it down for that long. But, you know, eventually, you know, I get another daily driver, you know, I'll go ahead and get that front bumper replaced. But yeah, that's, you know, that's pretty well the overview of this car. You know, I think we'll get this camera hooked up and take it out for a drive. as smooth as a E-Class or an S-Class? You know, no it doesn't. And, you know, with as rare as these cars are, you know, I've never ridden in another one, so I don't know if they all ride, you know, as harsh as what this thing does. You know, it could ride, you know, this way from the factory, and, you know, I'd honestly, you know, never know until, you know, one, I either go out and switch over, you know, to the Blistine, I believe they're called the PSS9, you know, shocks and springs, which, you know, honestly, this car might have on it. I know it's got Blistine shocks, but, you know, I'm not 100% for sure, you know, what all was done to this car. I'm only the second owner of it. This car here spent, well, it was bought new in San Diego, and, you know, whenever we first got it, it only had 81,000 miles on it, and we gave, you know, which is kind of crazy now, we only gave $7,000 for this car. And, you know, if you look up on, like, Bring a Trailer or stuff like that, you know, they're bringing some pretty good money, and this car here has only got 129,000 miles on it. We've owned it now for right at 3 years. But, you know, I've got, you know, a ton of, you know, Mercedes service history with this car. You know, we actually took it into the dealership, and they ran, you know, they ran the VIN number, and, you know, basically gave me the printout of, you know, all of the service history on it. But, you know, this car's never been in an accident, you know, nothing like that, you know, but, you know, it's a really, you know, enjoyable car to drive that, you know, you just really don't see a lot of them anymore. The biggest part of them, you know, that you know, do see, you know, I'm not saying that there ain't, you know, some very nice examples of these out there, but, you know, a lot of them, you know, just kind of been, you know, taken out, you know, just basically kind of bashed on. You know, every once in a while, you know, I kind of get into it. You know, it's kind of what it's built for. But, you know, it is what it is. You know, I don't beat it to death, but I'm here to tell you, I do go through more sets of rear tires on this car than what I do on the front, and that's, you know, at basically almost, I think the last time I put tires on this thing, it cost me almost $1,200. But, you know, they're good tires. You know, I really like them. They hook up, you know, a lot better than, you know, just about anything else I've ever had on here. You know, I never really Alright, sorry for the technical difficulty there. My camera evidently thought that it wanted to record the back seat. So, but yeah, back to where I was. You know, the Continentals that were on this car whenever I first got it, you know, this thing just, you know, didn't want to hook, you know, whatsoever. tractor parade, but you know, you turn the traction control off on this car, and all it wanted to do was just spin the tires and, you know, not go anywhere. But these Michelins, you know, once you get a little bit of heat into them, you know, they do pretty good. I mean, it'll still spin them, but you know, they actually start hooking just a little bit better than those Continentals ever did. But yeah, and you know, kind of on that note, I really want to say that this thing has got, you know, a little bit more horsepower than, you know, stock. You know, they say that this motor came out with 367 horsepower, but you know, with that, with those secondary cats deleted and that resonator deleted, and what possibly might be a tune on here, you know, I'd at least want to say this thing, you know, cranks out somewhere around 380, maybe 390. I honestly haven't, you know, no idea. There's a place kind of close to me that has a dyno that, you know, I'd eventually like to take it to, just to kind of, you know, see where it's at. But yeah, you know, that's pretty well the driving part of this video. So yeah, I think I'll finish it up from here. All right, well, that's pretty much, you know, my overview of, you know, my C55 here. You know, a lot of people say that this C55 is, you know, a good beginner's AMG car, and you know, honestly pretty well is. You know, we haven't really had too many issues out of it. You know, I had, you know, the alternator go bad on it, which, you know, was close to, gosh, I think I spent almost 400 bucks on the alternator, and at the time I changed out the tensioners and the belt on it. But then I also replaced the AC compressor, and you know, pretty much I've done all of the work myself to it. But whenever I went to replace the AC compressor on it, I happened to crack the radiator in it, so I did end up having to replace that also. But you know, it wasn't really something that, you know, went bad on it. It, you know, it happened because I broke it. But, you know, other than, you know, pretty much, you know, those two things, oh, and I replaced the conductor plate underneath, you know, in the transmission. But, you know, other than that, you know, for 3 years of ownership, you know, it honestly hasn't been really that bad of a car. You know, if you can find one, you know, that's still in decent shape, you know, it would, you know, I really think it'd make a good, you know, beginner AMG car. You know, just to kind of get you used to, you know, how much these cars are going to set you back. You know, one, in gas, because this thing gets horrible mileage. You know, tires, which, you know, like I said before, I'm going to end up replacing these back tires long before I'm going to have to replace those front ones. But, you know, all in all, you know, it's a fun car. And, you know, it really does surprise. It surprises a lot of people. You know, I've you know, kind of shown up a couple of, you know, Mustang drivers that thought they were hot. But, But yeah, you know, I think I'll end it off there, and you know, maybe eventually I might do another video on it. But I think for now that's, you know, pretty much all I got. But you know, if you like this video, consider subscribing, and you know, give me a like. You know, post a comment down below on, you know, what kind of wheels you think I should go with if I ever decided to change these. But, you know, like I say, thanks for watching, and see you in the next one.